Hello everyone, and welcome to the free-to-play Rares Only Plus series. On this account, I've been progressing through the game using champions who are rare, uncommon, or common, plus any champion who is free and permanently available to all players. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. As you can see, I'm on day 167. We'll have Seal of the Drakes in 13 days. Most notably, of my recent accomplishments and accolades, we've summoned Arbiter. I summoned her live for CVC, and unfortunately I haven't 6-starred her yet. I haven't been working on food. There was a champ training event last week, and during that particular event, I 6-starred 2 champions to start working towards another faction in my faction wars, as well as a few champions who will not only be good in faction wars, but will excel in a lot of secret rooms. So Yaga I will be able to use in 6 secret rooms. I forget exactly how many I'll be able to use Narhorn in, but specifically he's going to be good in the Skinwalker faction secret room, the Galen Pact secret room, HP Champions secret room, and any secret room that restricts me to rares. So at least 5 that I know of. So the goal is to knock out as many secret rooms as possible so we can get Dark Kale as soon as possible. Because while I can do Ultra Nightmare now, in case you didn't see, I have a full guide that breaks down the finer details of this team if you want to check it out. I'll make sure to link it at the end of this video. But yeah, as you can see, we can 4-key Ultra Nightmare now. So, the sooner I get Dark Kale, the sooner I could use him to replace Coffin Smasher and Frozen Banshee, which will open up a slot on my team that I could either use to bring in someone like Brush the Mangler for more healing, or potentially bring in another damage dealer slash debuffer, such as Rosin Scarhide, because as you can see, I have all the rares to start fusing him, so I can fuse Rosin anytime that I like. During CVC, which was about 5 hours left, and as you can see, I'm pretty tapped on resources, I did my part, 226,000 points, but my clan is still losing. Hopefully I can get some good Blood Shield accessories, specifically hoping for Sacred Order, because I desperately need a Blood Shield accessory for my Armiger. The reason being, because, well, as you can see, I've started pushing into Doom Tower hard. I still have to use Metal Shaper because I don't yet have the Blood Shield accessories. But Yakarl the Scourge was massive. Cold Heart I do have Blood Shield for. I have Blood Shield for these 2 and Cold Heart, but not for Armiger. So until I get some for Armiger, I'm basically stuck using Metal Shaper for this team. But the waves have been slow and steady, but we've been grinding through. Obviously, I beat the final stage of Doom Tower Normal. So we are officially 3 for 3 on Doom Tower Normal. And I don't know how far in I'm going to get in Doom Tower Hard. I haven't encountered any Torment waves yet, but it is my assumption that those are going to be the tricky ones. I do have a plan. Well, I have 2 plans. A plan A, which is to rely on Dark Elhain to just smash through when my team gets frozen. But I'm worried that's not going to be good enough, because once you start to get into like stage 50 plus, the enemies start to get really tanky, and she is very squishy. So if that plan doesn't work, my backup plan is Seducer. He places a 2-turn block debuffs on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown. So I might have to build him for block debuffs to get through the Torment waves. I was planning to build him for Faction Wars anyway because he does the ally protection. The Undead Horde faction crypt final boss for Faction Wars is the Duelist, and that is the one where his attacks ignore 100% of the target's defense and the damage scales off the target's max HP. So the only way you can really survive that is if you have Strengthen, Shields, or Ally Protection to reduce the damage that the target is taking. And Seducer fills that job really, really well. He also does an AoE decrease attack, which will be great for Faction Wars. Circling back to the Arbiter now, today I put up a poll wondering which Tier 6 Mastery you like to take for Arbiter between Eagle Eye, Timely Intervention, and I like to throw in a third option for people who don't have any strong opinions and they just want to see the results of the poll without committing to something. So 28%, But the majority seems to be in favor of timely intervention, which I totally understand, because her job is to be a turn meter booster. So what timely intervention does for the uninitiated is it increases her turn meter by 20% whenever an ally drops below 25% HP, which is a very good mastery to have for turn meter boosters and revivers in particular, and Arbiter happens to be both. But because I've taken Eagle Eye, I think I might end up going... because I've taken Evil Eye, I think there is merit in taking Eagle Eye still. So it's going to depend on what her accuracy looks like once I've got her gear into place. If I can't get her over 200 accuracy without Eagle Eye, I'm definitely taking Eagle Eye. Also, I would like for her to be able to place the big version of Weaken, because I plan to replace Haikutun with Arbiter for my Fire Knight runs, giving all my attack-based champions 50% increased attack with her A3 before they go is just going to be massive for reducing the time it takes me to clear Fire Knight 20. So basically it's going to come down to the gear, which it always should. You should never just blindly take any masteries, but for right now I'm leaning towards Eagle Eye because I don't know, like, she has 60 accuracy currently, and her speed is, she's only 250 speed. And this brings me to another topic. I should probably do a community poll for this one as well, but I'll ask you guys here first. I can currently 4-key Ultra Nightmare, as I showed you guys before, but because, due to the nature of my account, I don't really need to be hitting Ultra Nightmare. I don't need Sacred Shards, like, I just don't really need shard pulls on this account. The legendary books would be nice, but the rate that I'm acquiring them against Nightmare is totally fine. Especially since I'm doing so much champion training, and I'm consistently getting the legendary books at the end of the champion training tournaments and events. Like, I still have 21 after fully booking Arbiter. So I'll have enough for Still of the Drakes in 2 weeks, and I'll still have some left over, ready to go for either Yannicka or Vizix, whoever I get first. So, like, I really don't need to be on Ultra Nightmare. So because of that, I did want to get to Ultra Nightmare to show you guys that it is possible to do it with only rares and permanently available free champions. But now that I've shown it as a proof of concept, I'm considering disassembling the team to free up some of my best gear. Because that's what it's taken for me to build this team, is a lot of my account's best, fastest gear is being occupied by my clan boss team. Because she's an HP percentage boost, which was necessary to get her to the 63,000 HP to survive long enough into the fight against Ultra Nightmare. Because she's an HP percentage boots, I had to use a lot of really fast gear, and this weapon in particular is one of the fastest on my account, especially since I have a really fast shield from the same set to pair with it here. So not having these available in tandem for my Arbiter is potentially hurting my account. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should keep my Ultra Nightmare team together and continue farming there? Or do you think I should disassemble the Ultra Nightmare team, take a step back, go back to farming Nightmare, and free up my better gear for champions like Arbiter? And also, another drawback to this Ultra Nightmare team is this custom speed tune that I built. It requires my Haikutun to be at 235 speed, which is really not where I want my Haikutun to be. Which brings me to another point. Another survey that I did. I pulled a duplicate Haikutun. So my initial thoughts were, okay, this current Haikutun that I've currently built, she can be my clan boss Haikutun. And then I can build this second Haikutun to use elsewhere besides clan boss. And it would be just a nice quality of life, so I wouldn't have to constantly gear swap when I'm trying to push Doom Tower hard waves. I want Haikutun. I mean, Arbiter could potentially do the job, but I really like the 19% all battle speed aura that Haikutun brings. While Arbiter does have a larger turn meter boost, Haikitoon's turn meter boost also comes with a 30% increased speed buff that stays on my champions for 2 turns, which means for the next 2 turns, all of my champions are 30% faster, which is massive. If they average about 200 speed on my Doom Tower Wave team, that's an extra 60 speed that everybody's get. It's actually more than that when you consider the speed aura. They're more like 220 speed. So an extra 30% of that, it's like 70 speed or something. Like it's a lot of extra speed that they'll get for the next 2 turns. Even though it's a smaller turn meter boost, I think it adds more value overall. And on top of that, Haikitoon does this AoE turn meter reduction, which just provides a little bit of extra crowd control. And she does the decreased speed on her A1. The A1 decreased speed isn't as important because I will be using Vizix when I get her, who does an AoE decreased speed, but this is just a little nice extra backup in case somebody resists it or something. So what I wanted to ask you guys was, should I be allowed to use a second copy of Haikitoon on the Rares Only Plus series? The majority of you at 60% are saying yes because she falls within the parameters, but 33% are saying no. And even though this is technically the minority, it's a very large chunk. That's a very big minority. It's not like the 7% who love Lamp, right? It's a third of my audience is against me using a Haikitoon, and they feel it would undermine the whole premise of this challenge. And while I desperately would love to have a second Haikitoon built for these convenience purposes of not having to swap gear constantly, I'm coming around to side with this minority here. I do, after having thought about it for about 3 or 4 days now. 3 days ago. 3 days. I have come to fall into agreement with the minority, and I do think it would undermine the integrity of the series. So I have officially decided I will not be building the second Haikitoon. And unfortunately, I can't use her as a book because my first one's fully booked, so she's just going to be a 4-star chicken. Or maybe a Faction Guardian. Actually, let's do that. Let's use her as a Faction Guardian. I could empower. I did a poll for Epic Empowerment, and it was like 96% in favor of empowerment to 4% against, something like that. Like a huge majority is in favor of being able to do champion empowerment. But if we look at the champion empowerment, what is it? Gets 10% HP, 10%. It's actually probably better than Faction Guardian, because the Faction Guardians I would only get 10% HP. And what other barbarians fall within the parameters of my challenge that I'm going to have access to? Would I want to gain... It's nobody. I guess it doesn't really make sense to do Faction Guardians. Well, I guess Jamarsha technically does, but... So I'd be losing out on 10% HP on Jamarsha to gain 10% HP, defense, attack. Yeah, let's just empower the Haikitoon. And we'll just do that. Every time I pull a copy of Haikitoon, we'll empower her. Alright, I feel good about this. There's no going back. No second Haikitoon. Hopefully everyone's happy with this compromise. Let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to hear them. Cool. I got a +1 champ on the Rares Only Plus. Maybe that's what the plus stands for, right? What else have we done? Well, I already showed you Doom Tower. I got my first fragment for... I beat this secret room. Drexlar basically just sold the whole thing. It was madness. Drexlar is basically like cheating. But yeah, we got our first fragments for Thea the Tomb Angel. So we'll have her in no time, guys. Additionally, I've got 28 for Mithrala, 55 for Yannicka, 81 for Archmage Helmet, and then as soon as the next fusion starts, I'm hoping I'll be able to convert these into, hopefully, fragments for High Mother Mod, because Mod does fall within the parameters of my challenge being free and permanently available. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think if I should disassemble my Ultra Nightmare team to free up some of that gear for my Haikatoon and my Arbiter, or do you think I should just stick with farming Ultra Nightmare? Let me know what you think about my decision to empower Haikatoon. Was it the right choice, or should I have just said no to the haters and built a second one? I don't know. I'm feeling good about my decision. I think I did the right thing, but let me know what you think. I'll also, if leaving a comment is too much work, I'll make a community poll where you can just go and click a button and let me hear your voice that way too. It also helps you remain anonymous, so that could be, you know, for those of you who are concerned about such things, voicing your opinions without having to be held accountable for them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully, I will see you in another video soon, but until next time, everyone, happy raiding.